And we are live with the final Spooky Swap podcast episode.
Yay.
Welcome back to Spooky Swap, an offshoot of the Content Swap podcast, in which we assign each other a piece of content within a specific theme. Each week has been a different theme, and this is the last week that we are doing a Spooky Swap podcast, and we should be posting this on Halloween. And for this last episode, our topic was haunted houses. Is that correct?
Yep.
Not eerie haunted houses or anything of the sort, just houses that are haunted?
Right.
Perfect. And you are joined by Parker and
Aaliyah. Sorry, my voice going out.
we are both quite exhausted, I would say. We're recording this on a Sunday night, so the energy might be a little low, but we hope you can bear with us and enjoy listening to the episode. So before we get into this week's picks, which again are haunted-ish, we'd like to provide a little life update. So I'm going to let you take it away. What's new with you?
This week's been kind of crazy because we were in New York, and you had a conference, so you were busy working, and I was just kind of wandering the city alone, which was the first time I've ever done that in New York, so that was kind of fun. I got to visit a lot of libraries and bookstores, which I feel like would sound boring to a lot of people, but was like my dream. Because I just love seeing, especially I feel like in northern states, their libraries are just so over the top and so grand and so beautiful. And so I love to go and see them and see all the beautiful paintings that are on the ceilings and everything. So that was really fun. And one of the books that I bought while I was at one of the bookstores that I stopped by was Britney Spears' new memoir called The Woman in Me, and I could not put it down. Like that day I started reading it, and was just like super sucked in. Have not put it down since. It's been like 2 days and I'm almost done. It's a very fast book. And I probably could have had it done way in one day had I not just like been busy with other stuff. But yeah, it's just really sad, which like, you know, we know kind of what's gone down with her life just based on what we see from media, from the news. We like saw kind of like, you know, the trial or whatever with her conservatorship and everything. But there's just like so much more detail, and like hearing it from her voice and just like her finally being able to have her voice heard, like to be able to even speak on it, and like for her to even share it with us is like, it's wild. And it's just, I commend her for her strength of just being able to survive all that. And it sucks that she had to deal with all that. So highly recommend the book. It's really good. And yeah, check it out. Other than that, I don't think anything else is really going on like content wise. I don't think I've engaged with anything else. So okay. That might be it.
Anything else that you'd like to update on, just generally speaking?
No.
What were you, or what are you going to be for Halloween?
Oh, yes. Yesterday we dressed up for Halloween, and I kind of took the lead on our costumes and forced you into it.
It was fun. I enjoyed it.
It was. But I really wanted to be Max Goof for Halloween, and I was like, well, how can I make this a couple's costume? And so I was like, will you please be Bobby?
Right. And the earring toting potentially like stoner character.
Yeah, and I feel like at first you were hesitant. I posted on Instagram. I was like, everybody help me convince Parker to be Bobby. And people were like, yeah, do it.
It really didn't take that much convincing. I had an initial reaction of like Bobby, but then pretty quickly I was sold.
Yeah.
It was yeah.
I feel like when I said I wanted to be Max Goof, you were like, what?
Yeah, but then when you showed me how you wanted to dress, I was like, that's pretty great.
Yeah. But yeah, I really, really, really wanted to be Max Goof so bad. And so I got everything. We dressed up. Our costumes were a hit. We'll be dressing up again on Tuesday for work. And yeah, so it's been fun. I'm very glad Halloween is coming to an end.
Yeah, how come?
I'm just tired of it now.
The spooky vibes just kind of worn their welcome.
Yeah. I'm ready to move on. But I'm not a big Thanksgiving person, so I want to skip ahead. I'm like, let's get to Christmas. Let's
yeah, but like, what happens when you get close to Christmas and then you're like, I can't wait for Christmas to be done because the Christmas vibes have overstayed their welcome.
No, I always enjoy Christmas time.
You always enjoy October. Because you watch all of these. You plan a whole month around watching a movie every single day.
See,
I think you have a true affinity for Halloween more so than Christmas.
For sure. I do. And I think this is the first year that I'm kind of over Halloween. And I think it's because I feel like my movie lineup this year was kind of a bust.
I blame the aliens.
Yeah, the aliens really threw me off. Honestly, no, because I think
we started out really strong. Like, I thought the first 2 weeks were solid. We watched a good amount of movies. Like, the slasher movies in the second week.
Yeah.
That was like...
That was good.
That was the pinnacle. And I feel like we should have done that last.
Yeah. The aliens really put me down. And then this week was haunted houses. But I think where I messed up is this week, some of those movies I had watched earlier in the month to like get excited for Halloween.
Well, you're setting yourself up for failure.
That messed me up. And yeah, I don't know. I just like, but I don't know. But even the weeks that we had before, I think because I was trying something new and I was trying new themes, it was some of those movies were a stretch for the themes, and so it wasn't quite giving me what I need, like what I wanted.
Yeah.
And so I think I need to really sit down and like, I want to be creative with my themes, but I still want it to be true to like spooky season. Because what was happening is I was trying to be creative with the themes, but it meant pulling movies that weren't necessarily spooky season vibe movies. It was just like, these fit the theme, kind of.
Well, I mean, I do feel like I enjoyed the haunted house week. I mean, we watched Haunted Mansion, which I enjoyed quite a bit.
The new one.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that.
We played Luigi's Mansion, which has, had some spookiness, hauntedness going on. And then last night in Soho was haunty, I would say.
I mean, haunted houses is the most like true to spooky season.
Yeah.
But I'm not like the haunted house week is not what I'm talking about.
Mm-hmm.
I think by the time we got to this week, I was burnt out. Like by the time we got to this week's themes, I was already over it.
Yeah. No, I blame the aliens.
Yeah, the aliens really just threw me for a loop. But
we should have done that like first.
I just wish I never did it. I don't like alien movies, and I already knew that about myself, but tried to force. Yeah, I tried to force it. But I think next year I have ideas for themes that I think will be a lot better, and I think I have movies that like are still true to spooky season, but like fit the theme. And they're themes that we haven't done before, so I'm excited to play around with it.
Okay. Well, we can start planning that as soon as now because I have a whole bunch of spooky movies already written down.
Yeah.
Okay. Any other updates?
No, I'm afraid I'm getting sick. I'm
Oh,
not gonna lie.
oh no, that's
We'll
not good.
see.
All right.
I'm hoping not. Knock on wood.
Yeah.
You go ahead though.
Yeah. What's new with me? Yeah, so we were in New York. That was a lot of fun. I did not get to do nearly as much exploring as you did. I kind of realized on day one that I need some fancy shoes that are good for walking in because all of like my nice shoes are like basically like they're only good for if I was just a stationary human being. Because I did only, I don't know, maybe an hour of walking in my nice black shoes, and like my foot just started to just get the worst blister of all time. So yeah, I was like, wow, a lot of people in New York dress fancy, but then they wear like nice shoes. But I guess they gotta like get very specific shoes that are good for walking. Because I could not with walking in my nice shoes.
Were
So
your shoes new?
no, I've had my shoes since 2014.
Mm.
Um, yeah, so the shoes I own just not good for walking in. Um, yeah, but New York was cool. It was really interesting because I just started playing Spider-Man 2 like right before we went. It's a new game on the PlayStation 5. And so I was kind of like trying to scope out where a hotel would be, like playing in the game. And then it was like we got to go to New York and we got to see like a big promo for Spider-Man in Times Square. And it was just a lot of fun. It was like, hey, New York's kind of a cool place. Haven't been here in like, I don't know, 17 years or something. So yeah, it was just neat. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, I wish you could have been with me a little bit more because like there
Yeah.
was just parts where I was just walking and I would stumble across these really cool areas that were just like really nice places to just like sit, have like a drink outside. I was like, oh, I wish like Parker was here to so we could like sit and then like just take in the scenery.
Yeah, I always thought the idea of being in New York was pretty overwhelming because I remember when I went when I was like 12, I was very overwhelmed, but that's because I was 12 in a
Yeah.
in like a massive city
Yeah.
that was unfamiliar to me. So, yeah, being an adult and knowing how to navigate places and, if I get lost, I don't have to call for my mom. Like yeah, no, it was not as overwhelming as I thought it would be. I was maybe a little on edge for the first 24 hours, but
Yeah.
once I got over that, um, no, it was great. It was like, hey, you can just go anywhere, mind your own business, and you'll be fine.
Hmm.
Um, yeah, so New York was really cool. Got to see some of my coworkers in person for the first time, which was nice. Yeah, just kind of had a good time. Meanwhile, back at home, been playing Spider Man, and I just finished it today. It was kind of like all I did today was play Spider Man 2, and honestly, worth it. I loved it. I did not expect to love it. It was a very pleasant surprise because I wasn't really looking forward to this game that much when they announced it. And I've just kind of come to really appreciate the level of fidelity and just craftsmanship that goes into making a game like that. And there's just so many improvements in this one over the previous ones. And it just turned everything up. Like it was really something. Like I definitely recommend it. It felt like the biggest blockbuster that's out right now is not in the movie theater. It's at home on your PlayStation 5 playing Spider-Man 2. And that's just wild to me because like the other best thing, I guess, like the best story I've seen this year was probably Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse, actually in a theater. And it's like, Spider-Man is just having a hell of a year as a property. They are just crushing it. And I love that. I'm here for the Spidey sons. Even though Spider-Man's been around. He's always been around for the past, like, I don't know, 20 plus years. But it's like not until the past like 5 years that they've really gotten it to this place where it's like I can expect just some really, really good stuff from the Spider-Man property. And I love that. Really speaks to the strength of that intellectual property. Aside from that, I am still playing this game, Sea of Stars, on my Switch. I'm hoping to finish it soon. We'll see. I'm not enjoying it as much as that other game I played, Chained Echoes. They're both like JRPGs. But it's got a good story. It's got some nice twists and turns. I'm finding the gameplay to be like fun, but just kind of the same every single time. And I wish, I don't know. I guess I wish it had a little bit more variety for the length of game that it is giving me. But yeah, that's about it. Hoping to finish that and just move on to some other games like playing Mario or something. And yeah, I would say that's my update.
Nice.
Thanks. So for our content swaps this week, we have Last Night in Soho and Luigi's Mansion 3. I guess I will go first because Last Night in Soho is up, correct? All right. So, Last Night in Soho is a film that came out in 2021.
Yes.
And it is directed by Edgar Wright, known for movies such as Shaun of the Dead. I was about to say Steven Universe. Scott Pilgrim versus the World, Hot Fuzz. He was the original director attached to Ant-Man before he left. And they brought on like Peyton Reed instead. But yeah, Edgar Wright. He's a good director. So I was kind of looking forward to this because this
really?
Well,
Quit lying.
Okay.
You've been dreading watching this movie.
I was kind of dreading watching this movie, but once I realized Edgar Wright was the director, I was a bit more interested than I otherwise would have been. Because I've seen all of his movies. Except for The World's End. I think that one. I think that's what that one's called. I have not seen that one. But I've seen most of his movies. So I was like, oh, okay, like, you know, I don't know if I'll dig the story, but at least I know it'll be well directed because I like the director. But yes, I was slightly dreading watching this movie. Especially after we watched Annihilation, I was just like, if I'm going to watch some movie that's got like some message or something to say, I really need it to deliver on that right now because Annihilation just left such a bad taste in my mouth. So with all of that said, let me actually get into what the story of Last Night in Soho is. And then at the end, I will give my thoughts on whether or not I enjoyed it. So what the movie is about is it takes place in Britain, and it's about a young girl named Ellie, and she's from the country, and she moves to London to attend fashion school. And when she gets there, she's not really fitting in with the other students in her dorm, so she's like, you know, dorm life's not for me. So she decides to move into a room on the top floor of this house that is owned by a woman named Miss Collins. And during her first night of sleep in this room, she has a dream that she is this woman named Sandy in 1960s London. And she wants an opportunity, like Sandy wants an opportunity to sing and become famous. And she charms this manager at this local club called Jack, who's Sandy is played by Anya Taylor-Joy. Jack is played by Matt Smith. So Ellie just continuously has these dreams of Sandy every single night, and she gains some inspiration from Sandy's clothing for her own clothing designs at school, and she even goes so far as to copy her hairstyle for herself. And one night during one of these dreams, she realizes that the opportunity that Jack is promising to give Sandy is a little bit of a lie. Basically, Sandy is expected to sleep with different men in order to make her way up the ladder, and this is very upsetting to Ellie. And it's kind of this like commentary on women in show business and just kind of like how icky it was back then, and maybe kind of still is icky today, for women to be successful in show business. I kind of thought like, oh, is the movie kind of going in that direction? But it's kind of just like this commentary of like that. The commentary only really, I feel like, exists within Sandy's story of like what's going on with her. But
did you mention that like back then was the 60s?
Yeah, I said that.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, and that was the 60s. So Ellie, in real life, she also had a mom that had moved to London when she was her age, and her mother was very overwhelmed by it to the point of it affecting her mental health very severely. And Ellie she starts to hallucinate during the day, seeing images of Sandy and Jack and the different men that Sandy had to sleep with, and it's kind of becoming unclear like what's going on. And one night Ellie decides that she doesn't want to stay at home, so she wants to like go out, and she goes to this like Halloween party with her schoolmate John, and she decides to have him over because she's like, I don't want to go to sleep, I just want to stay awake tonight. And he's like, all right, like I'll keep you awake at your place. And they go back to her place, and then she starts to hallucinate Jack killing Sandy on the bed, and it all gets very wild, and John leaves because Miss Collins is like upset that Ellie has a male visitor for the night. And yeah, so John leaves. Yeah, and there's like, I don't know, there's some other stuff that happens with some other characters, but they don't feel like, I don't know, that important to the story, like the core story. So I'm not really going to cover that much. Basically, it all culminates, like, it's revealed that Sandy is actually young Miss Collins, and it turns out that Sandy had actually killed all of the men that she was forced to sleep with in the room that Ellie has been living in. So the hallucination of Jack killing Ellie wasn't actually Jack killing Ellie. It was Ellie when Ellie killed Jack. And yeah, I'm sorry, I just lost track of that. Sandy, not Ellie. Oh, so confusing. Okay, Ellie hallucinating, Sandy killing Jack. Yes, that's what it was. So let's see. So then Sandy, aka Miss Collins, modern day, tries to kill Ellie and John, but through the scuffle, the house starts to burn down. So Miss Collins, aka Sandy, decides to stay with the house as it burns, and Ellie and John leave, and they're good. Then we see Ellie, some time has passed, and she's having a fashion showcase for school, and she does great and seems to be healthy now. However, in the mirror, she sees her mom, which she saw her mom in the mirror at the beginning of the movie, and it's kind of like this, like implied, like maybe she just kind of has hallucinations in general. But she also then sees like Sandy in the mirror, which leaves it open that like, I don't know. I don't really know what that meant. She like maybe it's just kind of be like, yeah, she's a little schizophrenic. But it doesn't really seem to matter. I wasn't really sure what that meant. Yeah. Okay. So that's the movie. Saying it all out loud, it sounds like I didn't like this movie that much. But what I will say is that when I watched it, I was very intrigued. I did find it like thrilling to a degree. I thought it was very well made. I thought the story, yeah, when I recount it, I'm kind of like, yeah, maybe not everything was necessary, and also like I'm a little confused about the whole hallucination angle. Um, but at the same time, like I enjoyed it, and it didn't need to make like a deep philosophical commentary or anything. It was just kind of like at the end of the day, the story really it was straightforward. Like it was, this haunted room that she moved into, and like I did honestly think that the whole Sandy being Miss Collins reveal was very predictable. Like I kind of that was my leading theory from as soon as it happened. I was like, "Oh, she went back in time, but maybe is this just a younger person of somebody who we've already met? Well, who could make the shortlist for that? Miss Collins, and that's it. Okay, it's probably Miss Collins, and guess what? It was. So, yeah, I thought that was a little predictable, but at the same time, like I still enjoyed it. I got, like I said, a thrill and a sense of entertainment out of it. It didn't leave me with as empty of a feeling as Annihilation did, which felt like fluff, just fluff the movie. And this was kind of just like, popcorn. And I liked that about it. And my expectations were low, but it surpassed them. Yeah.
Nice. I have lots of things in response to that. You said lots of things.
I did say lots of things.
Starting with the hallucination aspect. I think the thing about, because you mentioned like not being sure like what the reason behind like the thing with her mom, and like how that connects with like present day. I think the point of, at the beginning they talk about, and trigger warning, they talk about her mom's death and how her mom died, which was due to suicide, and that was really hard for Ellie. And so they kind of allude to, or Ellie's grandma, who is the person she was living with before she goes to school, kind of alludes to like, it's like the grandma knows that Ellie sees the mom, and so it's like it's like kind of alluding to, okay, like clearly there's been something going on with Ellie to where she's been seeing the mom. Maybe they got help for that, from a psychologist or something, and now she's like doing better, which is why feels like she's like okay to go to school and things like that. And so
sure.
And so what I imagine that's all about is like to kind of make you feel like throughout the movie, like, is this Ellie like just like you said, like hallucinate, like making things up, or is this all true? Like, is this what she's seeing real and things that actually happen? And like because it's not clear that the house is haunted. Like, you don't know that the house is haunted. She's just having these dreams. So it's like kind of to be like, is she having dreams, or is this something? Is she really seeing something that was real?
I see. Yeah, I guess maybe for me, my lens for viewing the movie was maybe not through the lens of what a normal viewer's lens would be, because I was watching this movie under the context of like haunted house theme,
Yeah.
So
I spoiled it.
Yeah. So that just kind of told me like, all right, it's not her, it's the room that she's staying in.
No, I for sure spoiled it by putting it under the theme. But as a first time, like before I saw, like when I first saw this movie, I had no clue what this movie was about.
Yeah.
I sat down, I opened it. So that was my thought. It was like, okay, well, they keep alluding to her seeing her mom and how that was an issue in the past. So like for me watching this, I'm like, well, is she just hallucinating this? Because like you clearly see she's under a lot of stress. Like she's like in distress, things like that. Like she's being bullied. She's like not fitting in with the people in her class, like her classmates. And so that was kind of like my first thought before I even considered her room is haunted. Because it was like, what? Like it's just a room,
Yeah, I went straight to that room's bad news. Because as soon as she started sleeping in there, that's when she started having these crazy dreams, and And I was like, the dreams are probably about Miss Collins, and she lives there. So, like,
But even before,
I just put it all together, like, very quickly.
Even before the room, you see she's very paranoid.
Yeah.
Like, as soon as she gets to London, she's very paranoid about, like, like, the man who's driving her.
Yeah.
And, like, any person she sees on the street. So, like, yeah.
I just figured that was because she was, like, innocent and just hadn't really been exposed to the world. So she was just kind of, like...
I mean, sure.
Yeah.
That's fair. But, like, still, like, it's like...
Yeah, I see your point. Yeah. And there is some alluding there.
Mm-hmm. Now... What was the other thing that you said? Oh, shoot.
The ending?
The
ending where it was kind of like...
Yeah, I'm
not clear if she was hallucinating still, or...
I'm not sure about the ending. I don't know if it's supposed to be like there's a part of Sandy within her, like Ellie, and like that was supposed to, you know, be... Because, like... you know, she kind of takes on when she's having these dreams, you know, she starts to take on like the persona of Sandy herself.
Right.
And like, yeah, really just like takes on that identity. And so I don't know if it's supposed to be like a little nod to like, hey, there's still a piece of me that's a part of you type of thing, or I don't know. Maybe, I mean, that's just a theory.
Maybe not in like a literal haunting sense, but maybe in like a metaphorical, like I grew from this experience. I learned something. I took away, you know, Sandy, quote unquote, so to speak, in that, like, you know, now she's got this new hairstyle that was like inspired by Sandy, and she like had this fashion line which was inspired by like clothes that Sandy was wearing. She dyed
her hair back to brunette.
Oh, she did?
Yeah.
Oh, my bad. Well, you know, as if to say, like, you know, that experience will always be a part of me or whatever, which is a little on the nose, but...
Yeah. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say, you were talking about how it's very predictable. So one of the facts that I came across was that Edgar Wright, like, puts in a lot of clues to lead you to the fact that Mrs. Collins is Sandy. And... you know, people asked him, like, why would you, like, reveal it, like, before the reveal? And he said that he just really enjoys movies that, like, where it allows people to pick it up along the way, and, like, kind of prepare themselves for that big moment and that, like, yeah, just that like exciting moment to when it finally happens. So
yeah,
he put in a lot of those things.
I like that too. And yeah, it doesn't surprise me that he did that, because like if you look at the trivia for a movie like Shaun of the Dead, have you seen Shaun of the Dead?
No.
Oh, it's a good movie. Like the whole point of Shaun of the Dead is to just be one massive homage to zombie movies. Mm-hmm. And it's like, yeah, you can watch Shaun of the Dead and be like, oh yeah, that was just like a fun zombie movie. But then if you really dissect Shaun of the Dead, there's like thousands and thousands of references to other zombie films, just sprinkled throughout the whole movie. And so like that's the kind of director that he is. That he, you know, like he's doing everything very intentionally, and it's got some kind of like minute detail that he intentionally threw in for the viewer to enjoy as part of their viewing experience to some degree.
Yeah, that makes sense. Speaking of references, this is also another fact that I said. These are not facts that I actually wrote down. These are just facts that I remember. There was a ton of facts for this movie.
All right, go on.
But since you mentioned references, I'm guessing maybe that's a thing of his, because there are lots of references to James Bond movies in this movie.
Thunderball, when she first walks out.
And the drink that they ask for, Vesper.
That's the name of James Bond's girlfriend in Casino Royale.
Yeah, and then one of the actresses was a Bond girl.
It was probably Miss Collins.
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember which one. Yeah. Probably. So yeah, there might have been more. Those were the ones that I remembered.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. I mean, it's set in London. They filmed everything in London. Maybe that's why. I don't know.
Yeah.
James Bond's British.
Yeah, sure. Why not? Yeah, that's fine.
I don't know. 60s. Wait, when was the first James?
60s.
Yeah, there you go. Makes sense, kind of.
Kinda.
So anyway, are you ready for some facts?
Yeah. Hit me with all the facts.
Okay. I mean, I already was, but the actual facts that I wrote down. So, a lot of so there's some really cool shots in this movie.
There are.
Yeah, and a lot of them are filmed practically, and they tried to do
that.
a lot of them without any like visual effects. So one of those includes this mirror effect where Eloise.
I was just thinking about that.
Yeah, Ellie is kind of walking into the room, and this is the first time she sees Sandy. And it's like she sees a mirror, and as she's kind of walking, you see her reflection, but then you see Sandy's reflection. And you pointed out that one of the Weasley brothers,
Oh my God! No
was in
way.
this, but actually both are in this because this was done practically.
Oh my God! Because I saw the guy that was like the bellhop or whatever. I was like, hey, that's one of the Weasley twins.
It's both
of them. Oh, because it was the mirror shot.
Yep, and this was done practically.
Oh, that's my favorite fact. I love that.
I knew you would love that one. So they're both in that. Another one was this like dance sequence where it has like, it's basically both Ellie and Sandy dancing, I think with what's his name?
Matt Smith.
What's his character? Is it James or something like that?
Jack.
And I think they kind of swap in and out, but that was also done practically. So there's one cut that they had to do, but for the most part, it's just really well choreographed to where the girl who plays Ellie and Anya Taylor-Joy swap in and out during this dance.
Wow.
Yeah.
What about, the shot that I was really impressed with was Anya Taylor-Joy's walking down the stairs, and there's a mirror next to her, and you see Ellie going down the stairs as well. Mm-hmm. And it's like, it's not as simple as, they just CGI'd, I don't know, it's not as simple as doing it in camera. There's just another set of stairs next to the stairs, mm-hmm. and having the other actress walk down, because there's these multiple mirror panels. Mm-hmm. So it's you see multiple of Ellie, and I was looking at that, mm-hmm. And I was like, you could do that in camera. I don't know how you would, mm-hmm. but that could have been done in camera, and that's I don't know if you have anything on that.
I don't. I'm sorry.
Okay. Well, yeah, it was just really cool. Lots of really cool, nifty shots like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, it might be on the Blu-ray features.
Oh, the Blu-ray features. Why are we talking about the Blu-ray features?
Because they show how they do the dance sequence on the Blu-ray feature. So I was like, maybe it's on the Blu-ray features.
It's probably on YouTube then.
Probably. So for those flashback scenes where we're looking at Sandy's life, they were originally going to have them with no dialogue and only music to make it feel more like dreams. But they decided to change it when a co-writer named Christy Wilson Cairns
okay.
Cairns said she felt it was essential for the audience to fall in love with Sandy. So they decided to have dialogue, which makes sense. I think that was probably the best choice.
Okay.
Now, two very random. Honestly, there's so many facts on this movie. Go read them yourself. I was too lazy to put them all down here. So these last two are two very random facts. The first is Thomasin McKenzie, who plays Ellie, and I'm sorry if I pronounced your name wrong, actually dropped out of Top Gun Maverick to star in this movie.
Say that again?
The girl who played Ellie,
yeah,
dropped out of Top Gun Maverick to play in this movie.
Who was she going to be in Top Gun Maverick?
I don't know.
Interesting. Okay, go on.
Yeah. The second, and this is kind of a funny one. So one of the main kind of bully of Ellie's in this movie is named Jocasta. And
Yeah.
apparently Jocasta is the name Edgar Wright would have received if he had been a girl.
That's so random, but all right, sure. Yeah.
So yeah. My favorite part of this whole movie is Ellie almost accidentally kills her. Well, like she does it on purpose, thinking that it's one of these men. Yeah, these ghosts. And so she like tries to stab her, but her friend John catches her arm.
Yeah, it's like she's about to stab Jocasta.
Yeah.
And Jocasta's like...
And, wait, but it's like John is like, it's okay. And Jocasta's like, what the heck? No, it's not.
Yeah, she's like, what do you mean? What the actual F?
Yeah. She's like, security. And it's like the most like perfect like that is the most realistic reaction. She was like, what do you mean it's fine? This woman just tried to kill me for no reason. But yeah, that's all.
Those are all your facts?
Yeah.
All right. Well, yeah, I enjoyed the movie. I'd give it, I don't know, I'd probably give it a three and a half, maybe. Mm-hmm. Yeah, somewhere down the middle. I wouldn't not recommend it, but I'd probably recommend other things first.
That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But a lot of cool stuff to stand on its own merits. Mm-hmm. Cool.
We have Scooby-Doo on the TV because I paused it to record the episode, and his face is just so adorable.
What, Scooby's? Scoobert.
It's so cute.
Yeah, we need a dog.
I know. Oh my gosh. I was thinking about fostering a dog earlier today.
Oh my gosh.
I was like, maybe we should foster.
This is news to me.
I mean, I was thinking about it.
One of my coworkers fostered a dog and then ended up keeping the dog.
I'm like, if we foster a dog, we're for sure going to keep it, which is why I was just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Because I know us. We're going
really
to keep
careful.
it. Yeah, we're going to keep it. Anyway, so moving on.
Yeah, let's go ahead and move on.
Okay. I took absolutely zero notes for Luigi's Mansion. So
I also took absolutely zero notes. I'm looking at the Wikipedia page right now to see if there's anything noteworthy.
Got you. So I was assigned Luigi's Mansion and
3.
Luigi's Mansion 3 because it's co-op, meaning both of us could play it.
Yes.
And we actually started playing it October 1st.
We did.
And then we didn't pick it back up till last night.
Yes, on October 28th.
Yes.
Yeah, so we waited 4 weeks to play it again.
Our intentions were to play it the whole month, have all the time.
Yeah.
And that just didn't happen. But honestly, I don't think we needed it. I think we got
enough. Yeah.
We really didn't need all that time.
Yeah.
So it's fine.
I don't think we would have gotten anything extra out of playing more. Yeah.
Not at all. So if you've never heard of Luigi's Mansion 3, because I don't know how different it is from the other ones, and we can talk about that later.
This one is co-op.
I mean, aside from it, I already mentioned that, but
go on.
Aside from that. So basically, you play as Luigi, and you arrive at this hotel with Mario, Peach, and 2 Toads. And when you get to the hotel, it's run by this kind of creepy woman. And very quickly, right after you all, go to your rooms and go to bed, you hear a scream, and this woman has basically kidnapped all your friends, and she's trapped them in these paintings, and it's up to you to, get them from these paintings. But the hotel is haunted by ghosts, so you have to beat these ghosts and secure your friends. But also, when you beat these ghosts, you're collecting buttons for the elevator because there's no elevator buttons because the woman has taken them to prevent you from, beating the ghosts. So that's pretty much the whole game is you are trying to recover elevator buttons to go to each floor to beat more ghosts, to get more elevator buttons, and to find more of your friends to save them. And so how the co-op part of that works is You play as Luigi, but you have this device that allows you to create a goo version of yourself called Gooigi. And so this goo version of yourself allows you to, or allows this goo version is able to kind of go through like anything that has like bars, like doors that are open, or like
Yeah, so you'll have a chain link fence or something, and Gooigi can
like,
walk through
it. Yeah. So it allows you to get into some places that you can't physically go through. And so your partner, whoever you're playing this game with, can operate Gooigi while you operate Luigi.
Did we already talk about how Luigi goes about capturing ghosts?
No. So to capture ghosts, he basically has this like Ghostbusters machine that's like a vacuum. So you're able to, when you come across a ghost, what you do is you shock them with the light. It's like a flash. They freeze, and then you suck them up and kind of throw them around and then fully suck them up. And so that's how you defeat them. But some ghosts are a little bit trickier to defeat because maybe they're wearing glasses. So you have to throw things at them to knock off their glasses so that you can actually freeze them. Or like maybe they can hop into like to objects. Like we defeated a ghost who could hop into a piano, and he was such a hard ghost to defeat. And so different ghosts have like different difficulties and do different things. Some of them throw things at you, so you have to like maneuver around the things they're throwing at you while also trying to suck them up. Sometimes you're fighting multiple ghosts at once. You can suck up multiple ghosts at once. You can blow things, like you can not only suck in things, but you can also blow out if you need that function for any reason. And yeah, that's pretty much the whole game. And there's a doctor character.
Professor Egad.
Yeah, and he's kind of like helping you along the way. So he's the one who gives you this device to be able to like do all these things. He's the one who tells you about Gooigi. And yeah, he kind of guides you along the way and lets you know of any kind of like new features you have that are like mechanisms you can do. So yeah, so you can always go to him for help if you need it. But yeah.
Oh, I was just gonna ask you, what was your favorite Professor Egad line?
Oh, how does it go? He's like suka suka, sika sika, or something like that.
Luigi, suka suka,
suka suka, sika sika. He says that, something like that, and I kept repeating it.
Yeah,
it's just fun to say.
Professor Egad he's been around since the original Luigi's Mansion, which came out in 2001, and his lines have not changed. Like that is all you hear him saying out loud is like suka suka, Luigi.
I love it. I love Luigi's little sounds too. He's like, oh,
oh, yeah. I do like that a lot.
Yeah.
In the original Luigi's Mansion, it all takes place like in a mansion, and like Mario has been taken captive, and like Luigi won like a mansion in a raffle or something, and Mario goes to like check it out first, and Luigi gets there and he meets Professor Egad. He gets the poltergust, and he is just trying to find Mario, and like you can press the A button to have Luigi just go Mario. Mario. And like, yeah, if you ask my mom about it, she'll just start saying Mario, because she thought it was so funny. It was like one of those games that she watched me play growing up. Like, and it's like, yeah, it's kind of like an in-joke with people who've played Luigi's Mansion. Like, yeah, press A to Mario. Yeah, I always really liked the original Luigi's Mansion because it was just like fun and inventive, and there was lots of different like rooms in this house, and you're kind of like learning about this family that lived at the house, and it's like, oh, I just sucked up the dad, now I'm sucking up the mom, now I'm sucking up the baby, because they're all just ghosts, and there's like different types of rooms that you would find in like massive mansions. So I really really liked that game, and it's only like a 5-hour game, so you can beat it in like a day. Anyway, back to Luigi's Mansion 3. What else would you like to say?
So yeah, my overall thoughts on this game. It's a very cute story. It feels like Casper, which I loved, and like the ghosts are funny, and you catch them doing like different things. You go into a room and they're like gambling, and they're like, they catch Luigi and they're like, oh my gosh, Luigi. I mean, they don't speak, but they like look at him, and then Luigi shakes and is trying to like avoid them, and it's cute. I don't think I would play the whole game. Like, I think it gets boring fast. Like, I think what we played was enough, and I wouldn't play anymore because, like, I don't. You're just going to every room, and like, there's not much. I mean, every floor. There's not much on each floor aside from like you scope out a few bathrooms. All the bathrooms look the same on every floor, and you go into a main room where you're gonna defeat a big ghost. And it is cool to see the different like big ghosts, like bosses, I guess.
Yeah, like what's the theme they're gonna do this time?
Because they are different themes, but like I don't know. It just like I just kind of got tired of it pretty quickly. And yeah, I don't know.
What do you think my reaction is going to be to hearing you give me this information?
I mean, I think you'll be understanding.
Yes, I'm very understanding because I 100% agree with you. Yeah, I have played this entire game. I played it by myself, which I kind of regret because I feel like it would have been a lot more fun playing with somebody. So I was looking forward to playing this with you. It was like, oh, we get to play it together, and that'll make it like more fun and interactive. And it was more fun than playing it by myself, but at the same time, yeah, I just kind of found the same thing. Like it does get repetitive. It does get boring. The game, like I looked at my save file from my first playthrough, and it's like 13 hours. I was like, we played maybe 3 hours. I can't really imagine playing this game for 13 hours.
Yeah, I mean, we had so many, like every time we got into the elevator, I was like, we have like 15 buttons to go.
I know.
And I was like, I'm not doing that.
There's like 20 floors total. Yeah.
I was like, this is ridiculous. I'm not playing this game to find every freaking button.
Well, see, but that's the thing. Like, if a game is fun,
yeah,
then you'll be like, ooh, yay, 15 more keys, right?
Yeah.
But like, we're clearly not having fun enough if we're looking at it and saying, oh, 15 more.
And it's not until like you find like 6 buttons, you've gone to like 6 floors before you find your first person to save. Yeah. Like you find Toad or whatever. And it's like, it took me this long to just get one person? Like, dang.
Yeah, it's interesting because this game, people seem to like this game. It has like an 86 Metacritic score. Like our friend Hector just messaged me yesterday saying like, that's a great game. I love that game. And he seemed very excited about the fact that I told him that we were playing it together for the podcast. But yeah, I don't like, I'm there with you that we don't have to keep playing this.
I mean, it's super cute. Like, I love how cute it is. I think it's such an adorable game, and like
I totally agree.
Yeah, and it would be a game, like it's not a game I would play consistently, but I would, like, if I'm bored, and I just like want to pick it up and like play around with it for a little bit and then put it away until the next time I'm bored and I think about it, like that I would do. Or like come around like next October, I might be like, oh, let's play a little bit more of that game, we pick it back up and find a few more buttons. But like I wouldn't play to completion in like one sitting.
Yeah, I think like, so I did write a review on this game back in 2020, right when the pandemic started. I gave it a 2 out of 5. And I cited that, like, yeah, it's very funny, but I don't think that the gameplay mechanics expand very much beyond what you're doing at the beginning of the game, you're doing at the end of the game. So you as a player are performing the same actions, but just in different settings with different types of ghosts. So it's like the stuff that does change is fun, but for me as a player, I like my experience to expand as I play, and I'm not always in love with games where I'm kind of left doing the same thing, unless that same thing is just something that I perpetually enjoy doing. Like Super Mario 64, for example, you're playing the game the same way the whole time, but it's just so fun to move around as Mario that I don't care. Versus this, it's like, you suck up a ghost and then eventually you just smash the A button a few times and it's like, then you're good. Versus the original Luigi's Mansion, they didn't have the whole smash the A button thing. It was like you started sucking up that ghost and you just had to be pulling in the opposite direction of the ghost until you sucked it up. And I mean, the A button thing does add some more interactivity to that experience, I guess, but at the same time, it just felt like, I don't know, the easy mode version of it. And I look back, maybe it's nostalgia, but I look back on the original Luigi's Mansion so fondly because, like, I don't know, it's just, well, yeah, I was 8 when I played it, and it was on the GameCube, and I love the GameCube, but, like, Luigi's Mansion 3 it has a higher production value, obviously, but I would Luigi's Mansion 1 was just so much more subtle. I'd like walk into a room and I'd be like putting the story together in my own head. I'd be like, oh, like that's the master of the household or whatever, just by looking at like the ghost. I'd be like, oh, like that's the dad. And there's this like greater story of like all the people that lived in this mansion and how they relate to each other and like who the servants were and all that. That the game is like showing you and not telling you, versus like Luigi's Mansion 3 taking place in this hotel, and it's just like, let's just make every floor a different theme, and that does kind of have like some inventiveness, but it doesn't make it cohesive in like one whole. It's just kind of like, now we're gonna be on like the Egypt floor, because I do remember there's like a sand floor that's just full of sand, or there's like a movie set floor in Luigi's Mansion 3, which is like fun, but it's presenting itself in this like, it's telling me that it's fun, versus like Luigi's Mansion 1 was just kind of like, ooh, spooky mansion, playing as Luigi, this is just a totally different thing, and it's a short experience. It doesn't overstay its welcome, and I think maybe because I enjoyed that game as like a short experience, then taking that experience and multiplying it by like 2.5 just wasn't for me.
Yeah, I think this game would have been fun if there was more of a puzzle component to it. Like I wish that on each floor there was much more to explore. And like, like I said, and on every floor, it's like the only additional rooms aside from like the main one you go in to defeat the big boss, they're all bathrooms and they're all the exact same, and you do the exact same thing to...
I will say there's probably more variety like later on. Like there are some kind of puzzle elements that I remember from playing this game that like would be in there that we just didn't experience, and it's not just all bathrooms.
Yeah. Like I liked the part where we got the cop ghost.
Yeah, the cop ghost, and it's like in a little
shopping
shopping mall.
Because I was like trying to figure out, okay, how do we get into each one of these? But then like once you figure out how to get into one, you figured out how to get into all of them.
Yeah, it's kind of the same.
And I wished like every single room you go into, there's something so different. And I also wish there were like hidden gems. Like, I mean, they have like actual hidden
They
gems.
do have literal hidden gems.
But I'm not talking about the actual hidden gems. But I meant like I wish there were other like little hidden things, like cool things you could find that like, I don't know, maybe it becomes useful later, or like maybe it gives you some sort of special thing or something. Because like you have this function where you suck up everything, but it's like it's not really clear what the benefit is of sucking up everything aside from you just suck up everything, unless it's money. But like you can like suck up like paper and all this kind of stuff. And it's kind of just like you go into a room, you suck up everything, but like that was meaningless and you didn't find anything. And
yeah, Luigi's Mansion 1 is kind of similar as far as the money goes. Like the money doesn't really have a specific purpose. In Luigi's Mansion 3, they at least gave you like some items as far as like what to do with your money. But yeah, in Luigi's Mansion 1, they didn't have that. But they did have these fun cutscenes where it was like, yeah, you'd suck up all these ghosts, you'd suck up different like members of the family, and then you had to like release them into this machine that Professor Egad would then like, there would be like a whole cutscene of like all the different ghosts that you captured and how like and you know what he's, you know, like what is becoming of those ghosts, whereas this is just like, I've just got a vacuum and it's full of ghosts.
But I'm like, ghost aside, as like a side thing, I want to like, my favorite parts of this game was when I had to use my device in a creative way than like what I've been typically using it for. And so when I go into a room, I want to be forced to use my device in creative new ways to find cool things. Because my favorite thing about games, especially when they like build these worlds that are like pretty cool, is to just look around. I just want to look around and see if I can find some cool things. And so I want, even if it has no purpose, but it's just like something cool that you can like fiddle with.
I mean,
like I want to be able to do that.
There actually is a bit of that in this game. Maybe I was just finding all of them instead of you, because there was like a thing that was like spinning on the wall, and I would just like suck it up, and then it would spin a whole lot, and then it would shoot out a bunch of money, and it's like, hey, yeah, and then suck up the money.
Like, yes, there's like the pig on the wall that like would turn and like money comes out. Sure.
And then the literal hidden gems that we found as well, like those were from little side interactives.
Yeah, but I don't want like things. I don't want money. Like I want like, I don't even know how to describe. Like, well, I'm talking about like more puzzle stuff and like stuff that, I don't know. Maybe it like,
you wanted more of a payoff than just like meaningless money.
I guess so, or like something. Maybe it's like,
I mean, it poses a really interesting design challenge.
Yeah, or maybe it's some sort of side quest where like, yes, the main thing is that you're catching these ghosts and finding your friends, but maybe there's some sort of mystery element to it. And so like by exploring the rooms and like using your device to like creatively to move things, like to move a painting from the wall or like whatever, then you find a clue that tells you where to find something, or like, you know, things like that.
That's a really good point, because I think other games with their optional content, well, yeah, it's always a choice from the designer's perspective. Like, are they going to make a story out of the side content, or is it just going to be seemingly meaningless stuff? And in this game, they're doing the seemingly meaningless stuff. Versus, like, if I play Resident Evil and I'm, say, like, Resident Evil 2, the first half of that game takes place in an abandoned police station, you have your main goals, which is, you know, to get to different places and get to different rooms, and you find different zombies along the way, but you're also like seeing stuff on the walls is like telling its own story, or you're finding, you know, journal entries of people that like you're finding out like what happened to the people that were here before, and that kind of stuff like really fills out the details of the world in a really cool, fun way. That this is just This is just not doing. It's just like, here's this fun little interactive thing that when you suck it up, it's going to spin and shoot you out a bunch of money that you're not going to use.
Yeah. Or like one example is like something cool was we were in like a kitchen and there was like a door and I was like, oh, can I pull it? And I like pulled it open and there was this like big fish in the thing.
Oh yeah, it was like in the freezer.
Yeah, and I was like, whoa, that's cool. And I like walk in and I expect to be able to interact with that thing. And I couldn't, there was nothing to do. It was just,
yeah,
it was
like
there.
we pulled the anglerfish's light bulb and then it was like, hey, money.
Yeah, and I was like, can I go in? Can I explore
Right.
something? Can I poke at the fish? Can I do something? And it was nothing. And I was just like let down. I was like, like I pulled the door and I saw it and I found that. I want to do more. Like,
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, like, I wasn't necessarily expecting those things from the game, but I totally see your point. For me, it really is just like the core issue for me is just that the move set that you have at the beginning of the game is the same move set that you have at the end of the game, and like if you're gonna take that approach, it has to be a ton of fun to do literally anything, and for me, it's not that fun.
yeah, I don't mind so much the moves being the same because I'm like such a baby gamer. That's helpful for me.
Yeah.
Because when I am
I mean,
constant,
this is supposed to be for young children to enjoy.
When I'm constantly introduced to new moves, I can't remember them. And then battles or whatever happen, and I'm just pushing buttons because I don't know what I'm supposed to do because you've told me too much. So it's helpful for me that it is, a few set of things that I have to remember. But yeah, I just want to be able to be put in situations where I'm using those few moves creatively.
Yeah.
And in like a variety of situations. And yeah, like I want to be able to I want to be able to pull the picture frames off the wall to see if there's something behind it. I want to, I like to really take my time and poke at every little detail to see if there's something that can be moved, that can be broken, that can be whatever, to see if I can find other things, like hidden things.
Yeah, I don't know. I do. It's interesting hearing you say that because I do feel like there is a bit of that, but maybe it's just so few and far between across this 13-hour experience.
Yeah.
That you would have preferred a more condensed experience.
Yes, there is a bit of that. Like there are definitely moments where I got that feeling. Like for example, there's like some weird rug ghost thing that's like, and you have to like use the
vacuum
or whatever,
jump thing,
to jump over it. So it's like that's a moment where I'm like, oh yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
I
like,
enjoyed that.
Yeah, it's like that's what I'm looking for. But like you said, they're so few and far between. Or like the moments where I do get to use my device creatively, the payout's so little. It's just like, here's a coin for breaking the thing, and it's like, well, why?
Well, okay, let's take a look at the piano boss design real quick. So the way that this piano boss functions is that, he's a dude with a mustache, ghost, playing this piano, and then he's like shooting keys at you, but then eventually he does this move where he's on the stage, he shoots some bombs at you. You got to suck up the bomb, shoot it at the piano, then you got to shoot your little plunger thing at the bottom of the piano, and then pull it down and like flip it over, and then you got to like shine your light on him, and then you got to suck him. And that's kind of using like the full move set. So like I do enjoy that sort of stuff because it does, at each given moment, because you do have a limited move set of like suck, blow, jump, plunge, or scan, or flash your light or whatever. That it's like, okay, which of the 6 things am I supposed to do right now? Which like I can appreciate from a design perspective. And I think that is perfect for like younger kids to enjoy. But then I look at like this new Princess Peach game that's coming out next March, like Princess Peach Showtime or whatever. And the whole thing there is that she is getting like, she's like popping up on these different stages. It reminds me a lot of this game. But she's popping up on these different stages, and now it's like you're playing as like Musketeer Peach. Now you're playing as like Dessert Maker Peach. Now you're playing as Kung Fu Peach. And it's like, okay, like that looks like a lot of fun because though the move sets look simple, like Luigi's Mansion, I'm doing different stuff throughout the game. So there's always going to be this sense of variety. And that's what I like.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm looking forward to that game, but not necessarily reflecting on this game with the same, like, I don't know. Yeah. Just level of enjoyment, I guess.
Yeah. It's fair.
That being said, I would love to have an opportunity to play the original Luigi's Mansion again because I would play that game in a heartbeat. I do love that game. All right. Well, any other thoughts on this?
No.
Okay. Well, I guess this concludes Spooky Swap 2023.
My overall rating of Spooky Swap, not Spooky Swap, but my October movie month this year, I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5.
Ooh, dang.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you want to rate it? It's all because of Alien Week.
I think the slashers were really strong. What were some of the vacation movies that we watched?
We watched Taken, which I actually really enjoyed watching Taken.
Taken was
we
fun.
We watched Snakes on a Plane.
Snakes
Cabin
on a Plane
Fever,
was fun.
Jaws 3D. Jaws was a bummer.
Jaws was a bummer. That's my bad. Oh yeah, Cabin Fever was a lot of fun.
We were supposed to watch Old, but we didn't watch Old.
I think that would have been fun as well. That movie sucks, but like in a fun way.
Yeah. I think that's all we watched.
Got you. Well, okay. I'm looking at. I'm figuring out my assignment for next week.
Are you gonna rate October movie month?
Oh, October movie month. I'd give it. I think a 3 sounds right.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3 perfectly.
I'm gonna do better next year, y'all.
Middle of the road.
Yeah.
I mean, I enjoyed watching Alien. I really did not enjoy Annihilation at all, and I don't think we missed out on. We didn't really watch any of our other Alien movies, and I don't think we missed out on anything from that. So, yeah, that's just kind of really like. Meh.
I did watch my haunted house movies this week.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I kind of watched them all like today.
Yeah. Well.
But
yeah. Slashers are just always good. Like we watched Friday the 13th for the first time.
We did.
I was like, oh, that's fun. Like next year, I want to watch the next one. You know.
Yeah. Yeah. Except I Know What You Did Last Summer, and that was a bust too.
Ooh, all right. Okay, well, now we are back to our regularly scheduled programming. Mm-hmm. So, just a normal assignment this week. What do you got?
Because we've done October movie month, I wanted to give you something a bit more wholesome, a bit more lighthearted, kinda. And so I want to give you Life as We Know It with Katherine Heigl and Josh Duhamel.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. Cool. Solid. Mm-hmm. I know what that is. Mm-hmm. I think. They have like a kid and they're like overwhelmed by it, but it's maybe not their kid. It's their friends' kids. Dead friends' kid.
Yes.
Something like that. Yeah, I know what that is. Okay, cool. All right, solid. If I do recall, I did say, like, bring out your heavy hitters after last night in Soho. So,
I wouldn't call that a heavy hitter. It's just, it's a, don't think too much about it. Just watch it, enjoy it.
Okay. I think I do think that is perfect for what I chose to give you. Like, I think next week will just kind of be like a regular old week. I'm going to give you Source Code.
I don't know what the heck that is.
It's a Jake Gyllenhaal movie that came out in like 2010.
Is it like a drama? A thriller?
Yeah, it's like a drama thriller. Action-ish.
Can't say I'm looking forward to it.
It's an interesting movie. I think we'll see.
Okay.
It's about no, I'm not even going to tell you what it's about. I think you'll get the most fun out of just starting it fresh.
Okay.
Trust me, it's a decent movie.
Okay. Well, I'm excited for my movie.
All right, well, I'm excited for my movie. I've only seen my movie once. I saw it in a theater, and I was like, hey, you know what? That was pretty good.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. You are giving me the most like face right now. So like really trying to be nice. Smile. That's what you're giving me right now. So we'll see. Okay, so next week we have Source Code and Just Go With It.
No. Life
What's
as
it
we
called?
know it.
Yeah, what's Just Go With It? Is that the Adam Sandler movie?
Yes.
I do like that movie.
I love that movie.
Next week we have Source Code and Life as We Know It. I almost got it wrong again that time. Hope you enjoy that. Hope you enjoyed Spooky Swap 2023. What would you rate it? Let us know in the comments. Wherever you're able to comment. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.